Hello, and welcome to the Will Leitch Show. I am the aforementioned Will Leitch, and thank you for spending part of your day with me. Today's show is about childhood fame. You know what I am personally thankful for? I am thankful that when I was a kid, absolutely nobody knew who I was, and nobody cared. Now, to be fair, this is sort of the case now that I'm an adult too, and probably that's not so good now that I think about it. But back then, what a relief. I got to be a gawky, awkward, nerdy, pimply-faced adolescent without anybody noticing me at all. I got to be a lame teenager with a mullet without anybody noticing me. I got to be a stupid college student who did stupid college student things without anybody noticing me. I even got to be an affected 20-something dipshit New Yorker who said things like, "The Strokes have captured something important, man," without anybody noticing me. I am so lucky. The worst thing we can do to a kid is shine a national spotlight on them. This is true for child actors like today's guest, Mackenzie Phillips, who has to grow up on your televisions and movie screens. But it's especially true for athletes, pretty much whatever age they are. If you are, say, a college football player or a college basketball player, you've had grown-ups staring at you, analyzing and judging your every move, probably since you were 12 or earlier. And it never stops until you stop being good at your sport, which is, of course, the last thing that anyone wants. Before you even know what a normal life is, you know that you don't get to have one. All the dumb mistakes the rest of us get to make in our lives, they are not allowed for you. Adults you do not know at all have stakes and agency in your life. Your life does not belong to you before you are old enough to buy a beer or drive a car. How horrible. Life is insane and harrowing enough. Imagine having to answer to the whole world anytime you do anything when you're 15. We have been talking about LeBron James since he was 13 years old, calling him the next Jordan, the next evolution in NBA players. That he has turned out to be relatively normal and that he's succeeded and kept himself somewhat sane, that he is now a good father and a productive member of society, is honestly just as impressive, if not more so, than the fact that he's the best basketball player I've ever seen. It is cruel what we put these kids through, and it's sort of unfathomable when you think about it. Alas, I suspect we will never stop doing this. This is inherent to sports themselves, played most energetically and beautifully by the young. We are always looking for the next thing, and that next thing gets younger and younger every year. The good news is that once players' careers are over, we'll stop caring about them, and they'll only be in their 30s with their whole lives ahead of them. The bad news is that by caring so much, we've already fucked them up. Joining us now is the childhood star of One Day at a Time, author of Hopeful Healing, essays on managing recovery and surviving addiction. It can be seen in the new season of the Netflix hit show, Orange is the New Black. Please welcome Mackenzie Phillips.
Hey.
Madame, very charmed by all means, please.
To meet you.
Thank you. I forgot to mention Lakers fan in there. We're going to get to plenty of Lakers stuff here.
Got to get that. You also left out High on Arrival.
Of course, yes. I would want to hit the more recent one.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. But so we do a theme for each show, and one of the themes on this one, I've been kind of fascinated by, I write about sports and I write about entertainment. And it's always kind of fascinating to me, particularly in sports. I look at LeBron James, your new Laker, who is very exciting. Yeah, LeBron James. But it's amazing to me that we have been talking about LeBron James since he was 12 years old. And to me, one of the things that I find almost as impressive about the fact that he is the best basketball player that I personally have ever seen, is now a member of your Lakers, is that he has survived being in the public eye for so long and having that kind of pressure. And that seems like not a lot of things cross over in both the sports and entertainment world. But that does seem like that's something you have experience with, the idea of having that sort of attention at such a young age. I don't know how anybody does it.
Well, I mean, let me put it this way. Some people handle it better than others.
Right.
Some people come into it more resilient, maybe, more equipped, more familial structure, more support, and seem to weather the storm rather beautifully. I mean,
but there's a storm no matter what, right?
Yes. I mean, I don't think anybody can be prepared for that, especially Bron, especially LeBron, that type of laser focus, that type of what's he doing, who's he with, where's he going, you know, and for me, all of that happened for me in the age before the internet.
Right.
So there weren't paparazzi sort of following me and Valerie Bertinelli around when we were teenagers, but there was still a great deal of pressure to be a certain way, and I just didn't know how.
I think it's interesting is one of the ways I think he's handled it is a way there was backlash initially. He's taken more autonomy over kind of his life and career. Remember when he left Cleveland, everyone was the first time, like 9 years ago, everyone was so mad. I wrote a piece that I'm a little embarrassed of, to be honest. Where I'm like, how could he do this to America?
How dare he?
Yeah, it feels kind of dumb now.
Yeah.
And now when he made the move to the Lakers, everyone was like, good for him, like good for LeBron doing what he wants to do. And I wonder if that's a change of culture in general, other than just sports. The idea of, because there's so much pressure and so much attention on everyone from such a young age, that anyone that when they come out as strong as LeBron has, and has taken the public hits that he has, we're almost like, proud of him, like, you know what, you overcame this and took charge of this
and go do what you want to do.
Right.
I mean, there's this thing that I often think about is the ability to follow passion rather than expectation. Like, you know, because a lot of people would have had the expectation for me to continue to audition as an actor. Well, I went back to school, and I have a beautiful career in the behavioral health world and work in a treatment center. And so I had to look inside and find out, well, what am I really passionate about, as opposed to what do people expect me to do? And there's that differential, that balance differential. I mean, are you passionate, or are you just doing what people are going to expect you to do anyway?
And which is particularly hard because nobody cared about me at all when I was 13 years old. And I still felt expectations. Like, I still felt like people, like when you're 13, you know, you kind of want to do what, make adults happy. You kind of want to do what they want them to do. And I felt that way, and I was a nobody. I mean, I was less of a nobody than I am now, but still quite nobody-ish. And I'm curious, do you, like, I can't imagine that. Like, that's an extra level of expectation.
Well, add on to that, I mean, when you're 13, you think the world revolves around you.
Right.
And then when you start having sort of a practical representation that in a way it kind of does, you know, if you have any sort of underlying mental health or addiction problems like I did, then you know, you really get on a trip that's hard to come back from.
Do you think that it is a sign? Because that's why, I mean, I look at LeBron and I look at a lot of these players, because this is throughout all of sports, right? Like, we're always looking for the phenom. I guess that's one thing that's a little different. Like, people will always need child actors, but like in in sports, like the youth is fetishized, and this is the most important thing in that. And the idea.
And you're washed up by the time you're.
Oh, of course.
I mean, let's not forget that.
Of course.
It's like, oh, well, you know, he can't play anymore.
He's 31.
Right.
His life is over.
Gosh. Come on.
And that's what I mean. Is like, I can't.
There's a short window.
Exactly. And so much pressure you was on during all that time. It's, to me, that's an interesting aspect of sports too. Is not only do you have a hard time coming up in this, but you have a hard time coming out.
Yeah.
Like, it's officially over.
That's where it goes south for a lot of players, I think, is that post-big league time. Right. You know, I mean, you know, you'll read about, you know, he's losing his mansion, whoever's,
right.
You know, the house is, he doesn't have any money, you know, and it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I wonder, I'm curious, because the idea of a second act in life is really, you know, that's, or a third act or whatever act that you're on,
right.
Or any one of us
If
on.
you're a cat with 9 lives.
Yeah, everyone, like, listen, like if life is not actually a play, there are many acts, there are many turns, and so on. But the idea of, you are known for this thing, and you have expectations to be this way. To me, the hardest part is, I can't imagine how hard it is, not only to just get out of that, but then to like almost restart. Like, what you've been able to do, is to come out of that and then thrive in another field that's entirely different, but is also still, like, you've been able to benefit from that, from being known in that way. How did you, that seems as hard as the first part, right?
I got to tell you, it was just so random.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so random. I mean, I was, you know, I really did look inside, and I thought, well, I'm not going to be alive as long as I already have been. And this was when I was in my early 50s. And I thought, well, then what do I want to do something for me. And so that's when I went back to school and went into the behavioral health field, so that I wanted to do something that I was tremendously passionate about, and that was helping people who feel like they have no hope maybe find a little bit of hope, right? And then, I had told my agents, just, don't submit me for anything until I got that call saying, well, Orange is the New Black called. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me?
Right.
And I put myself on tape for the audition and walked away going, yeah, whatever, that's never going to happen. And I got the job. And so it's
Were
not
you
like...
still auditioning a lot? Were you just kind of done with it? You were just kind of done with it?
No. I never auditioned.
You were done. Right.
Yeah, I was like,
you
done.
just get the call. Right.
I play a therapist on One Day at a Time, the
course.
reboot on Netflix of One Day at
Which
a Time.
is a wonderful, wonderful show. I have many questions about that.
Such a good show.
It is absolutely a wonderful show.
Such a good show.
It must be so strange for you to watch it, because I watched the first one. I was very young,
Right.
and I remembered it very fondly. And then I watched the new show, and the new show is of the same spirit of that show,
But
it's so different,
different show.
and it's really wonderful, I have to say.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's such a good, I mean, the living room set is reminiscent of the set on One Day at a Time. There's a guy named Schneider,
Right.
And there's two kids, one boy and one girl, as opposed to, so there aren't that many similarities, but at the same time, it's not dissimilar.
It feels the spirit is the
The
same.
spirit is the same.
But I'm curious, being back to do you find now that you've been through all that, now you're and you found this second career and the success in that, do you find acting more fulfilling now? Do you find it more satisfying to be back in it?
I thought I could only do one or the other.
Right.
I didn't realize, because I thought, well, if I'm doing behavioral health and then I go off and do some acting, what does that say about my commitment to working with addicts? And then I realized, wait, it's not like straddling the fence. It's having a door built in between either side of the fence and being able to move freely between these two worlds. And I love that, that I have this opportunity to work with Norman Lear again. And I love having this opportunity to be on Orange is the New Black. I mean, I've been sitting in my hotel all day sort of scrolling through social media.
Oh, don't do that.
No, it's kind of awesome.
Wow.
It's kind of
I don't
awesome.
usually hear that when
No,
people are
really,
like-
I mean, some people are like, oh, well, that Mackenzie Phillips has not aged well, or like, oh, their elderly sisters. I love it all.
Oh, really?
It's just, you know what? You got to have a thick skin, right?
Well, you're going to make me feel better about social media, because every time I go on, I feel like the world's falling apart. That might be because the world is falling apart.
Oh, the world is totally falling apart.
Possible. Okay, we have a section here called, we're going to talk some Lakers stuff now.
Okay.
We have a section called Frivolous Questions of Dubious Import. You can answer these as quickly as you like.
What if I don't know the answer?
You have to leave. I'm sorry, you actually have to get out of it. No, I'm just, of course not. You can
I'll go.
You can tell me to buzz off and do it. They're not like trivia questions. They're fun. Okay. So my first question is about the Lakers.
Okay.
It does seem to me that there is this sort of celebrity culture, and it happens with the Knicks. I'm a Knicks fan, so it happens with the Knicks a little bit. But the Lakers, it feels like a separate thing. It feels like everyone, there's Jack Nicholson.
I knew you were going to say Jack.
And then there's like a pyramid down throughout. Is to be a part of that celebrity culture of the Lakers. Do you look at some people and be like, okay, you're not a real fan, or you're a real fan?
Oh, never. No.
It's just part of the thing.
When I go to Lakers games, because I'm sort of friendly with Jeannie Buss, and I bring my son and a couple of his friends, and it's like, oh my God, there's Denzel Washington.
Right.
Oh my God, there's Adam Levine. Oh my God, and I'm sitting there fangirling all over the place, and my son's like, be cool, Mom, be cool.
No, they're saying there's Mackenzie Phillips. That's what they're doing.
It's possible.
I think it's likely, but I'm curious. But it is funny though, because I bring up Jack Nicholson because he is kind of the. At this point, he hasn't made a movie in so long. He is actually more a Lakers fan than actor at this point.
Well, but his work is so enormous
of course.
and huge that. But I mean, what's a Laker game without Jack sitting on the floor there? And the guy, the older guy with the beard and the gray hair, that's Lou Adler.
Oh, the acting is that
No.
Oh, sorry.
Lou Adler
Celia Strauss.
founded and produced all the Mamas and the Papas records.
Oh, wow,
So
wow.
he was Uncle Lou to
Right,
me
of course,
growing
of
up.
course.
So when I'm in the chairman's room before the game and Lou walks in and it's like, hi, Uncle Lou. I may be almost 60 now, but you're always going to be my Uncle Lou. It's trippy.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm curious. Do you want to be like can you want to take over for Diane Cannon? So I always feel like that's like the next. There's Jack,
Diane.
and then there's Diane, and there's like a stratus of as someone that's literally never been to a Lakers game.
Right.
I feel like I understand the celebrity stratus of there's Jack, and then there's Diane Cannon, and then I
Jack
feel
and
like
Diane?
yeah, exactly. I feel like you can be. Can you take over for Diane Cannon?
No, nobody could take over for Diane Cannon. She's an icon.
Who's better, LeBron or Kobe?
Kobe.
Kobe. Then if
Spoken from the heart.
because this is a thing now. Like a lot
I
of
know it's a
people
thing.
are like LeBron
Because
can't
here's
be
the
Kobe.
deal. Like LeBron is going to surpass Kobe's record
Yeah, I mean, it
as a
seems that way.
Laker, I imagine, but
think so?
not in the rings department though.
Right. So that's where you measure. That's where it's measured. Like if Kobe won 5.
Yeah.
If he somehow, which seems unlikely, he's getting
Seems
older.
unlikely, he's
But if
older.
he somehow won 3 with the Lakers, which would put him more than Kobe total.
It's not for me. It's Kobe.
It's Kobe. Yeah.
For me, it's about the vibe, the feeling.
Yeah.
Staples Center, Kobe Bryant. Going from 84, 81, 24. I mean, just
Right.
Kobe.
He's Kobe,
He's
right?
Kobe.
Right. Is that the loudest? I figure you've been to. You went to the old Forum. You probably went to the old.
No.
No, you never went to the old Forum.
Yeah. No.
Okay. So
No.
but Kobe is with the Kobe's height. That was the best that you saw.
Yeah.
If LeBron doesn't win the championship in Los Angeles, will he be thought of as a failure?
Likely.
Likely. Will you
Not
think of it as a failure?
No, I
Okay.
won't think of him as a
But
failure.
you think generally they will.
I think so because, I mean, people think that, Bron's coming to LA to win some rings.
Then you get the Lakers back because it's been a while.
Yeah.
So, well, I have absolute faith. I saw on, forgive me, I don't mean to be a Twitter stalker,
Okay.
but I saw on your Twitter page that a picture of you and Daryl Strawberry.
Yes.
Do you know Daryl Strawberry? Are you guys
Well,
friends?
Daryl owns a treatment center in Florida.
Yes.
And my treatment center that I work at is called Breathe Life Healing Centers. It's in LA. And we attend a lot of different behavioral health conferences, addiction specialist conferences and stuff. And we happened to have the booth for his treatment center was right next to the
okay,
booth.
okay,
And I was like, oh my God, it's Daryl Strawberry. Are you kidding me?
He seems to be doing great.
He looks amazing. Very healthy, very strong, doing the deal, helping other people.
Well, this leads me to my next question. Forgive me, this is a somewhat personal question for me, but my sister has actually been clean for 2 years.
Wow.
It'll be 2 years, I think, next week. What would you tell? Like, is there any difference between 2 years and 5 years or 10 years, or is there something you would tell?
I have a thing. I have learned over many years of experience and bad experience, relapse, that time does not necessarily treat, nor does it necessarily heal this thing, alcoholism and addiction. And it's not necessarily how long you've been doing it, but it's what are you doing in the day that you've been given to keep your recovery new and exciting and fresh, and how are you helping other people? Because as we always say, you can't keep it unless you give it away. What are you doing for somebody else? So I would recommend that your sister be of service to another person who's suffering. And that is probably the best thing that you can do.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, you honestly, and I don't want to get the details, but you have lived honestly one of the craziest lives that I have ever actually heard of. Do you sometimes wish that like you would have just been like the daughter of a family of farmers in Nebraska? like do you have that fantasy sometimes?
I don't. This has just been my life.
Yeah, right.
And so when I think about it, I think that it might be interesting to have lived or grown up a different way, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of, the sum total of my experiences, and it's what I do with that makes the difference.
I can say that as someone that grew up in the farm Midwest, it would have not been interesting. It would have not been interesting at all.
I like animals a lot.
Yes.
I don't eat them or
There
anything.
are lots of cows to pet and not eat.
And not eat.
So they do eat them, but you wouldn't.
Yes, they do, but I wouldn't.
I know.
No.
Do you feel like if your last book, not the most recent one, the one before, do you think if that would have come out during like the High on Arrival, if this would have come out during like the Me Too era, where there's maybe a little bit more instant,
Wow.
do you think it would be different? Do you think it would have been reacted to differently?
Well, when High on Arrival came out in September of 2009, people were thinking, "Oh, she's lying.
Yeah,
she's lying.
Right.
That couldn't be
That's
true."
what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, there was even one. I was watching TV one night, and they had a body language expert on one of the evening magazine shows, looking at me to decide whether or not I was telling the truth.
Wow.
And I felt so deeply offended by that at the time, but I was like, well, God, I mean, I guess I opened the door. I mean, I have to take whatever slings and arrows they throw at me.
That would absolutely not happen.
No,
It's
it
hard to-
absolutely
right.
would not happen right now. And I think High on Arrival was the beginning of opening a national conversation about something that nobody wants to talk about. And I'm grateful that I wrote it. I'm glad that it's in my past.
Right. And all right. I feel like you have hung out with pretty much every important American cultural figure of the last 60 years. Do you have like any like boring friends? You know, like friends with like the mailman or something? Like, do you have any like just dull friends?
You got to understand is that I work full time with a clinical team of normal people who happen to be extraordinarily talented.
No wonder you seem okay. Normal. You hang out with normal people.
I live in a therapeutic environment. You know, I mean, I work in a therapeutic environment. Most of the people, I don't have a bunch of famous friends. I don't drive a big fancy car. I mean, I'm just like a normal person. I work full time and I get to do fun stuff and write books and be on Orange is the New Black. It is so bizarre that I get to do all the different things that I get to do and still maintain this sort of under the radar life.
Well, good. Well, that's well. Then stop watching. She wants an under the radar life.
Not quite
You're
that.
giving her too much publicity. Please turn this off right now. I ask this question on every show.
Okay.
Forgive me. Bob Costas, the broadcaster Bob Costas. Remember he was on during the Olympics?
Yes, with
and he
the
had
red
the pink eye.
Yeah.
Did you ever get on set? Because remember he went out there every day, every single day, and just kept Did you ever have to have pink eye on set or anything? It feels weird that he did that. He just kind of went out there every day.
It's so contagious.
Yeah.
Like if you have pink eye, you need to bring in your understudy and stay home.
Yes, it feels like they should have done that.
Yeah, I've had it several times, and
it's not pleasant.
Yeah, it's really.
I don't have it now. Okay, just a few more questions. George Lucas, you were in American Graffiti.
Yes.
Was George Lucas ever normal? Was he like a normal guy when that movie? Because
he was a very young man.
Yeah, he was very young. Yeah.
He was lovely. He was quiet. I mean, the most he would do, we'd do a take, and he'd go terrific, or he'd say, "We're going again."
Oh, that's all one can ask.
Very normal guy.
American Graffiti is coming out. It's going to be
45 years.
I know. So I have tickets to see it in August.
Wow.
You can see it on the big screen. I'm very excited.
I was 12 when I made that movie.
It is absolutely amazing. I love that movie.
It's a
I'm
great
very
film.
fond of that movie. And okay, a couple more short questions. Which one day at a time do you actually like more? Can you take a step back?
Oh, I couldn't even say. Yeah. I mean, I would have to say the original because that's where I grew up. That's my home as a young woman. But I love working on I mean, Rita Moreno. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. She's an icon.
It really kind of blows me. Like the show is so good. Like I thought it would be good, but it really is. I'm always very stunned by how good it is.
Yeah.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
Is your life? We're gonna play a game after this.
Okay.
It's the last of the short questions.
Okay.
Would you say that your life right now is the most normal it's ever been? Whatever normal. Is it the calmest? Are you now in the appropriate level of stasis that one would like to have?
My life is fantastic, and it has been for quite a long time. I mean, normal. You know, I have a friend who said, you know what, normal is just a setting on the dryer. Normal is relative to the person. Right. So, but yeah, it's pretty normal.
Okay, well, good. That's then
calm, quiet.
Okay, so now we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
This game is called Who Said It? Lakers edition. I'm going to give you a quote from a Laker current, past, or present.
Oh gosh, I hope I don't screw it
past,
up.
Current, or future.
Okay.
But we'll give you choices, so you don't have to just like toss out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So which of the two Lakers said the following phrase? I've always felt that I'm a natural leader. Was it Derek Fisher or Lamar Odom?
Derek.
It's incorrect. It's Lamar Odom.
Lamar.
Yeah.
The Candy Man.
Yeah, I love Lamar. Okay. I'm the baddest among the bad guys. Is it Wilt or Kareem?
Wilt.
It's in fact Kareem. It's in fact Kareem. Though I think the what's the Will Chamberlain line? Nobody loves King Kong, or like nobody loves the big guy. Like,
yeah. I once
guy.
met Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in an airport.
Yeah, he was on Dancing with the Stars recently.
I know.
And it was like geometric. It was like a wild thing to watch with like these like 4'8" like dancers flying around. It was really kind of wonderful. I love Kareem. Kareem is one of my
respect, man.
favorite players of all time. And just a great human being.
Yes.
Okay, these young guys are playing checkers. I'm out there playing chess. Is that Kobe or Magic?
Oh. Kobe.
That is correct.
Yes!
That's correct. We were not going to let you get out of here without
God,
just two more. I make sure I get a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit. I'm a big fruit man. I'm a vegetable man anyway. Is that Dennis Rodman or Magic Johnson?
You know, I was on Celebrity Rehab with Rodman.
Yes. Is he a vegetable man?
I don't think so, but I'm going to say Rodman anyway.
No, he is not in fact a vegetable. That is Magic. That is
Okay,
Magic.
well, what
he
do
is
I
not
know?
a vegetable. Yeah, he doesn't seem. Dennis Rodman, a national ambassador,
I
important
know.
negotiator to.
It's just a
It's a crazy world.
A really interesting person, Dennis Rodman.
Hi,
Dennis.
Do you trust him negotiating with North Korea?
Not entirely.
Yeah,
No, not
probably
entirely.
also not entirely. Okay, last one. If I were a painter, you'd be calling me Shaq Casso. Is it Shaq or is
It's
it
got to
Shaq?
be
Of
Shaq.
course it's Shaq. Of
Shaq
course it's
Casso.
Shaq.
I was thinking about Shaq today.
Yeah, Shaq is. I ran into. I was in an airport with Shaq one time, and when Shaq is in an airport, everybody in the airport knows. It becomes like the biggest story in the world
Yeah.
that Shaq is there. And I interviewed him one time, like 7 years earlier. He recognized me. He remembered my name.
Wow.
He remembered what we were talking about. And for me, like, of course I recognize him. He's Shaq.
Right, he's Shaq.
But like, I was like, it's not like we were like on a television show together. I interviewed him for like 20 minutes, and he remembered the details of the
Love it.
conversation. I feel like that's almost as impressive as being.
That's really impressive. He was paying attention.
He was paying attention, and I don't even remember what we talked about because I'm not as good a person. Okay, last thing we have a thing called Outburst. Remember the game Outburst? It's like
No.
we call it answer. How many things can you name on the show you're on with Will right now?
Okay.
Basically, it's like Family Feud played quickly.
Okay.
There's 30 seconds on the clock, and if I were to say U.S. states, you would name as many U.S. states as you could in that 30 seconds.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, but it's not U.S. states. It's not U.S. states.
No, I could do that.
Much
I'm
more
afraid-
specific to your
I'm
area of
afraid.
expertise.
Okay.
Okay. Give me as many cast members as you can of the film American Graffiti in 30 seconds. 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
Candy Clark.
Yes.
Ron Howard.
Yes.
Paul Lamette.
Yes.
Harrison Ford.
Yes.
Deborah Lee Scott.
Yes.
Suzanne Summers.
Yes.
Cindy Williams.
Yes.
Charlie Martin Smith.
Yes.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Yes.
Lynn Stewart. Mackenzie Phillips.
Let's do it. Yes. And time. That was amazing. That was amazing. I guess the only one, the major recognizable name, I guess Kathleen Quinlan was in it.
Oh, yeah.
And of course Wolfman Jack. Wolfman Jack.
the Wolfman.
The great Wolfman Jack.
The Wolfman.
Mackenzie Phillips, I assumed it would be a delight to have you on the show, and it very much has been so. So thank you so much for your
Will. This was really fun.
Well, that's the goal. The
I had
goal
a
is to
really
have a
good
good time for everyone as well. So watch. You're all over Netflix. You cannot be missed on Netflix. You are on the new One Day at a Time, and of course on Orange Is the New Black.
Yes, I am.
Delightful as always, and I look forward to and thank you to be entirely honest and to be entirely sincere. Thank you for the note about my sister. That is most appreciated.
Thank you.
So all right. So please, thank you for watching the Will Leitch Show on SITV. Please come back to watch the Will Leitch Show or wherever your Will Leitches are sold. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.